Hello everyone and welcome back to our course on modern web development. Today we'll talk about handling events and conditional rendering in React, which are essential for building interactive applications. Okay, so event handling in React, it is similar to how the DOM does it, but with some syntactical differences. So the key differences are that event names are written in camel case. So as you can see, they're written like this. As the first part goes with lowercase and the second part goes with uppercase, and also event handlers are passed as functions, not as strings. So you can see this example here. So we use the camel casing and use onClick to handle a certain click, and we have a button here which just says click me, and it basically creates a default button. So why is event handling important? Because it allows us to respond to user interactions like clicks, typing, or form submissions. We already went over this in our previous lessons, but we're gonna do it in depth today. So it also enables dynamic behavior and interactivity in our applications. Let's start by handling click events. So we're gonna create a new component called clickCounter.js. Let's go back to GitHub Codespaces. And in our source folder, we're gonna create clickCounter.js, and we're gonna go back to our lesson, copy this code, not waste our time, and I'm gonna walk you through it. So it uses state management by using useState here, which we imported, and it handles click. So it has handle click function, which increments the count, and also it has the button element. The onClick event is attached to the button. So now let's include our click counter in our app.js. Okay, first of all, let's import it here. So click counter, and we're gonna pass it right under our main section. So click counter. And let's check our application, and if we click here, it's gonna track how many times we clicked and handle certain events such as onClick. So yeah, you clicked 5, 6, 7 times, good job. And now let's move on how to handle form events. So let's handle form events such as submitting a form or input changes. Okay, we're gonna create a new component again and call it name form.js. And let's go back to our lesson, and we're gonna copy this code right here. And we're gonna paste it here. So, and the explanation is that we use state management using useState as we imported here with React to manage name and submitted name. Also, we're using some event handlers such as handle event, handle change, handle submit, which handles form submission, prevents page refresh, and updates submitted name and clears the input in the end. So here. Also, we applied some conditional rendering. So it displays a greeting message if submitted name is not empty. So let's actually use it in our app.js first and then check if it works correctly. So we're gonna import it first. And under our click counter, we're gonna use our name form, and let's go back to our React and check. Okay, enter your name, Arlen, submit, hello Arlen. So we create a basic form which takes our name as input and returns a greeting message. So we can try out with another name such as Alice. So if we're gonna paste Alice here, it's gonna return hello Alice. So that's why we use conditional rendering and useState to handle forms. Now let's focus more on conditional rendering in React. So what is conditional rendering exactly? It allows us to render different UI elements based on certain conditions such as state or properties. And there's some techniques for using conditional rendering. So the first one is the most obvious, is using if statements. So if we are logged, in this example, if we are logged in, it's going to return a dashboard page. Otherwise, it's going to redirect us back to the login page where we have to log in or sign up. Also, we can write this conditional rendering by using ternary operators. So this syntax is way easier and faster. It depends on your preference if you want to use the first one or second one. And also we can use logical AND operator, which is just those two signs. So here, if message length is greater than 0 and message list messages equal to messages, it shows a basic example. So now we're gonna play with it more and create a new component which we're gonna call toggle visibility, which is gonna give us a good introduction to conditional rendering. So let's copy this code first and navigate back to GitHub Codespaces and create a toggle message.js. We're gonna simply paste this code, and here we're using state management using isVisible to track visibility. Also, we handle some events here, such as handle toggles isVisible state, and the conditional rendering part comes here when the message is displayed only when isVisible is true. Otherwise, it's gonna hide it. So now we're gonna again include it in our app.js to display it. So first of all, we're gonna import it from our component, so toggle message, and we're gonna paste it right under name form, so toggle message. And now let's test it in our on our server. So as you can see, it has the button show message, and it uses conditional rendering once again by if we click the message, the button, the message is displayed only when isVisible is true. So now it's true, and it's going to show us the toggled message. Okay, now let's build a more complex interactive component that combines event handling and conditional rendering. So we're going to go back to our lesson, and we're going to create a to-do list. So let's copy this code right here, and I'm going to walk you through it once we paste everything in our code editor. So let's create a new file first, which we're going to call to-do list, and paste this code. So how it works, basically the component uses two state variables, to-dos and input value. To-dos is an array that stores the list of to-do items, and input value is the current value of the input field where users type new tasks. Also, when the user types to-do in the input field and clicks the add button, the handle add to-do function is called. It basically adds a new to-do item to the list with the default completed status set to false. And each to-do item has a complete button, and clicking the button toggles the completed status of that item. So the handle toggle complete function is used to change the completed value from false to true. So that's how we're going to track our to-do items. And the component conditionally renders a list of to-dos if there are items in the list, and each item is displayed with its text, and if it's marked as completed, the text is styled with a line through. And the component allows users to add new to-dos, mark them as completed or undo them, making it interactive and dynamic feature of our user interface. And now we're gonna navigate back to app.js and include our to-do. Let's import it first. And we're gonna put it right under here, to-do list. And let's go back to React. And yeah, as we can see, we have a to-do list here. So if we're gonna give it some tasks such as finish homework and buy some food, and we also can mark it as complete, so it's gonna cross it, and yeah, it leverages all the state and conditional rendering to create a basic to-do list. And now I wanna walk you through the best practices of using them and some tips. So we use it for event naming. We use descriptive names like handle click or handle submit. We also prevent default behavior. So use event.preventDefault for form submissions, and some states updates. So when updating state based on previous state, use the functional form of setState, as you can see here. And keep conditions simple and readable. For complex conditions, create separate components so you can use them throughout your whole application, which makes it more convenient and just cleaner, like the whole code and code base. And ensure interactive elements are accessible. So for example, type equals to button for buttons. Okay, once again, excellent work today. We've covered event handling, so how to respond to user interactions like clicks and form submissions. We also went through displaying different UI elements based on state or properties. We touched some state management by updating component state based on events. And we finally built some interactive components such as to-do list by combining event handling and conditional rendering to create dynamic interfaces. These skills are fundamental for creating interactive React applications, and in the next lesson we're gonna explore and start with introduction to Next.js, which is the modern framework which is built on top of the React, and you're actually gonna build your first AI application using Next.js and Tailwind, so stay tuned. And if you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to reach out to me using my social media, and happy hacking. Thank you.